Oh god, something's rubbing against my foot. Are you alright? Stay still.
Wait, did that just say based on true events? There's no way that can be based on true events, right? Welcome back to Top 10 Beyond the Screen. I'm your host Joss, and today I'm answering that very controversial question. We've all seen movies with the tagline based on true events, and we sit there wondering if it's really true or if they just say that so we'll be more intrigued or completely freaked out. Well, all I can tell you is that the list I'm sharing today are movies that are really based on true events. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and hey, thanks for getting us to 11K. Leave a comment below and tell me which true story movie is your favorite. Hang around until the end of this video and I'll do some comment shoutouts. Let's get started with the top 10 movies that are based on true events. Starting off our list at number 10 is Apollo 13. The movie came out in 1995 and touched the hearts of all its viewers. It tells the story of the tragedy which took place in April of 1970, nothing but a true event and one that headlined news for weeks to come. Apollo 13 is the famous name known. The spacecraft launched on April 11th, 1970 and was heading towards the moon. On the evening of April 13th, when the crew was 200,000 miles from Earth and closing in on the moon, the mission controller saw a low pressure warning signal on a hydrogen tank. They immediately flipped the switch to perform the routine procedure, but a moment later the entire spacecraft shuddered around the crew. The oxygen tank had exploded. Alarm lights lit up as oxygen pressure fell and the power went out. The crew notified mission control with the famously uttering words, "Houston, we have a problem." The film follows the horrifying story of 3 astronauts desperately struggling to bring back their ship back into Earth's orbit. A thriller, a heart-wrencher, but definitely a must-see. On a lighter note, at number 9 we have Into the Wild, which came out back in 2007. The true story of Christopher McCandless, a recent Emory University graduate who gives up all his material possessions and journeys alone out into the Alaskan wilderness. Hence the title, Into the Wild. The movie reflects the many conflicts and problems that people face when they live a materialistic life. But people like Chris have the wish to be free and independent and escape the norms of society while finding peace through nature. After graduating as a top student and athlete, Chris abandons all his possessions and gives his entire savings account to charity, a total of $24,000. He then hitchhikes to Alaska to follow his dream. Talk about dedication to nature. I love being outdoors, but I don't like it enough to give up $24,000. Judge me. In our number 8 spot is American Sniper, an incredible movie that came out in 2014. The movie follows the true story of a Navy SEAL sniper named Chris Kyle. His pinpoint accuracy saved countless lives and turned him into a legend during the War of Iraq. Not your typical talent, but one that should definitely be documented. Not only do you see some of his sniping skills throughout the film, but you also see the struggles he faced when heading back home after he was finally released from his duty. You get a deeper look at the sniper's life as Chris struggles to escape the haunting shadow of war and death and reconnect with his wife and children. I personally underestimate just what these Navy soldiers go through once the war is actually over. This movie gives you a behind the scenes journey of what it's truly like. I recommend this movie to everyone. How about we bring some romance into our number 7 spot with Walk the Line, the movie that hit theaters in 2005 and is based on the autobiographies of legendary country musician Johnny Cash. Now, I know country music isn't for everyone, but I promise there's more to this story than just that. Actor Joaquin Phoenix takes on the major role as the story follows him from his youth through the rise of his stardom. But deeper than that, you also see his struggle with drugs, infidelity, and guilt that he faces over the childhood death of his brother. Keep in mind, these are all true stories that Cash went through in his lifetime. So where does the romance come in? When Johnny Cash meets a girl named June Carter, who is played by Oscar winner Reese Witherspoon. It's her and her family that help Cash finally be able to turn his life around. Precious, right? A true example that life has to get hard before it gets better. This one hits me right in the feels. Alright, enough with the mushy gushy stuff. At number 6 we have the Amityville Horror. The original movie came out in 1979 following the true events of a brutal and very disturbing crime. A man named Ronald Defio Jr. murdered 6 of his family members one night in their own home. He's known worldwide as an American mass murderer for killing his father, mother, 2 brothers, and 2 sisters while they were sleeping back in 1979. 1974. This horrifying case is what inspired the book and also the film version of the story, the Amityville Horror as we know it. The movie follows a young couple who buys a house in Amityville, New York, and it turns out to be haunted by the supernatural evils left by their horrendous murders. They moved into the house a year after the murders took place and moved out just 28 days after moving in. I would probably do the same. They reported strange odors, sounds, loud drops, and other terrifying hauntings. It is as scary as it sounds, and it definitely doesn't help that the story is true. Is it just me, or are movies 10 times scarier when they're actually based on true events? Taking our number 5 spot is American Hustle, the 2013 movie starring some of the greatest actors like Christian Bale, Bradley Cooper, Amy Adams, and Jennifer Lawrence. The movie follows the famous 1970s FBI abscam investigation. Abscam was a code name for the high-level investigation that was taking place into public corruption and organized crime. American Hustle follows the story of Irving Rosenfeld, who dabbles in forgery with his lover Sidney Prosser. After being caught red-handed by FBI agent Richie DeMasso, they are forced to work undercover as part of his sting operation to nail a New Jersey mayor. Meanwhile, Irving's jealous wife, oh yeah, he has a lover and a wife, she may be the one to bring everyone's world crashing down. This one is filled with drama and crime, a combo you don't want to miss out on. This next one is legendary, and at number 4 we have The Schindler's List, all the way back to 1993. The movie was directed by Steven Spielberg, who is joined by the one and only Liam Neeson. The film tells the true story of Oskar Schindler, skillfully played by Liam, a Nazi businessman who has a change of heart, eventually managing to save over 1,000 Jews from the Holocaust. He begins to protect the Jewish workers that staff his factory during World War II. Many would say he's a real-life hero. This film was an incredible story to tell, to witness a ray of light in such a dark and tragic timeline of the Holocaust. This movie was very well received and won Best Director and Best Picture awards from the Academy that year, and rightfully so. I remember learning about this movie back in high school, and I'm so glad that I did. It truly is an incredible story. Speaking of incredible stories, in our number 3 spot is 127 Hours. The 2010 movie shocked its viewers as they witnessed a complete nightmare that happened to just an ordinary man. While exploring a canyon in Utah, hiker Aaron Ralston becomes trapped when a boulder falls on his arm. He was trapped for a total of 5 days. 5 days. I can't even imagine. No food, no water, the pain you would be feeling, that just sounds like a complete nightmare. Over the next 5 days, you see Ralston examine his life and consider all his options. This ultimately leads him to the agonizing decision to amputate his arm so he can try to make his way back to civilization, or remain pinned to the canyon wall and most likely die. Actor James Franco takes on the role of Ralston, whose book is what inspired the film, Between a Rock and a Hard Place. I feel like that's some awkward humor, like it's clever and funny, but like it's not actually funny. Another must-see movie taking over the number 2 spot is Open Water. Another typical shark movie, right? Wrong. This 2003 movie follows true events that will 100% convince you to never go in open water again. The movie is based on something that really happened to American tourists Tom and Eileen Lonergan, who were left behind by a diving company off the Great Barrier Reef. The couple was on an excursion and went scuba diving in open water, where their boat accidentally left them behind in the shark-infested water. By the time the mistake was realized, 2 days later, it was too late and they were never seen again. However, a shark attack was never determined to be the cause of death. The couple's dive jackets were eventually found and had no damage on them, which suggested that they likely took them off while being delirious from dehydration and drowned. Not a happy ending with this story, but still worth watching the crazy story come to life. Alright guys, taking the number 1 spot is Psycho, a film that was made in 1960, but the story still remains in the entertainment world today. The movie follows the true story of a woman who steals money from her employer and runs off to a mysterious hotel, where she is murdered by the man running it. That man is famously known as Norman Bates, whose character represents the real killer Ed Gein, a Wisconsin man who was convicted for the murder and also suspected for others. He was also known to be a grave robber, and authorities found many disturbing results of that in his home, including bowls crafted from human skulls and a lampshade made from the skin of someone's face. Both disgusting and disturbing. Fast forward to 2013 when a Netflix series came out called Bates Motel, exploring the story and the life of character Norman Bates. No matter how many years went on, this story was one that no one could forget. Alright guys, there you have it. Let me know in the comments which true story is your favorite, and you might get a shout out in the next video. For now, let's check out some comments from my last video, Top 10 Disney Pixar movie theories that will blow your minds. Emerald Cannery 13 says, please can you make a part 2 happen? This is really awesome content. I can probably make that happen. David said, hashtag Landon sent me here. Well, thanks for coming, David. Minecraft Silent Build says, just binged and finished all the videos in an hour. Now I'm all caught up. That is what I like to hear, Minecraft. Tisha's vlog says, do anime please. Tisha, you can head over to our top 10 nerd channel and get all the anime you want. That's it guys, I'm signing off. Like this video, subscribe, leave a comment, do all the things. I'm your host Joss and I'll see you next time.